What if everything you've been told about your mind is wrong? Since childhood, we've been taught the mind lives inside the brain, a control center locked in your skull. But new discoveries in quantum science are quietly dismantling that belief. Research from leading institutions now suggests your mind may not be confined at all. It may be a field vibrating, entangled, shaping reality itself. Your thoughts? Not stuck in gray matter but rippling across space. Your emotions? Not private but creative. You were never just a thinker. You've always been a transmitter. And in the next few minutes, you'll see why the mind you've been living with was never truly yours to begin with. Ready to wake up to the truth? Let's begin. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something shift before a single word was spoken? Or suddenly thought of someone, only for them to call seconds later? These moments aren't coincidences. They're clues that your mind isn't locked inside your head. Because the truth is this: your mind is not in the brain. It's a field of energy. While we've long believed that thoughts emerge from neurons firing in the skull, quantum science and consciousness research now tell a different story. According to systems theorist Ervin Laszlo, our consciousness is part of what he calls the Akashic field, a universal field of information, vibration, and memory. It connects everything. And your mind? It's not the source of the signal, it's the receiver, the tuner. Just like a radio doesn't create music but pulls it from invisible waves, your brain doesn't generate mind, it receives it. This idea aligns with principles from quantum physics like non-locality and entanglement, where particles influence each other instantly across distance, without any physical connection. If matter can do this, why not mind? Maybe that's why you can sense a loved one's pain without being in the same city. Or why ideas seem to download out of nowhere, in dreams, silence, or stillness. You are not imagining it. You are tapping into a deeper field. And this field isn't limited by space or time. It holds memory, emotion, possibility. The more coherent your vibration through emotion, presence, clarity, the more clearly you tune into that field. Healing, intuition, synchronicity, they all emerge from alignment, not analysis. This is why ancient mystics and modern physicists, despite centuries between them, often speak the same language of resonance, unity, and energy. So if your mind is not bound by your brain, what else might be possible for you? Imagine what could change if you stopped identifying with your thoughts and started learning to tune them. Imagine if healing wasn't just physical, but vibrational. That's not fantasy, it's emerging science. And you're already participating in it, whether you realize it or not. What do you think? Have you ever felt connected to someone in a way you couldn't explain? Drop your experience in the comments, I'd love to hear. And if this sparks something inside you, give it a like, subscribe, and tap the bell. We're only just beginning. Because next, we'll explore how your mind is not a passive observer of life, but an active participant in shaping reality. Stay with me. What if you're not watching life unfold, but helping it take shape, moment by moment? It's a radical shift, but science is catching up to what mystics have whispered for centuries. You're not a passive observer of reality. You're an active participant in its creation. Quantum physics flipped our understanding of the universe upside down. In experiments like the famous double-slit test, particles behave differently, depending on whether they were being observed. Just the presence of consciousness changed the outcome. Why? Because in the quantum field, reality doesn't exist as fixed and solid, it exists as a wave of infinite possibilities. And your mind? It chooses which wave collapses into form. This means your thoughts, emotions, and expectations don't just interpret reality, they interact with it. They are signals, tuning forks, vibrations that pull certain experiences toward you. When you expect rejection, you notice it. When you radiate love, connection finds you. Not because you're imagining it, but because the field is listening. Your reality isn't something you watch like a movie on a screen. It's something you help edit as it plays. Dr. Amit Goswami, quantum physicist and consciousness researcher, explains that consciousness is not in you, you are in consciousness. This isn't philosophy, it's physics. So next time you feel stuck, ask, what energy am I bringing to this moment? What wave am I choosing to collapse? You're not reacting to a finished world. You're co-authoring the next page. Think of it this way. Your mind is not sitting behind your eyes, quietly recording the world like a camera. It's more like a painter with every thought, brushstroke, and emotion, coloring the canvas around you. And this leads to a deeper truth we'll explore next. Your brain doesn't record reality, it builds a version of it based on what you expect, believe, and feel. What does that mean for healing? For change? For freedom? Let's go even deeper, because everything you see may not be what's truly there. What if I told you? Your brain isn't showing you the truth, it's showing you a story. A carefully edited simulation, shaped not by reality itself, but by your memories, beliefs, and expectations. Contrary to what we've long believed, the brain is not a camera. It doesn't passively record the world as it is. Instead, it constructs a version of the world filtered, colored, and shaped to match your internal map. Think of it like augmented reality. Two people can walk through the same city street. One sees beauty, potential, and opportunity. The other sees danger, rejection, and decay. Same world, different minds, different models of reality. This is where the reticular activating system, RAS, comes in. It's a tiny network in your brainstem, but it plays a massive role. Its job? To filter over 11 million bits of sensory data per second, down to just a few hundred that your conscious mind can handle. And how does it decide what to show you? Simple. What you already believe. So if you believe you're not good enough, your brain will show you proof. If you believe you're lucky, creative, or resilient, it'll find examples to support that too. This is not magic. It's neurobiology. Cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman takes this idea even further. In his groundbreaking research at UC Irvine, he argues that perception evolved not to show us the truth, but to keep us alive. We don't see reality as it is. We see a user interface, a simplified projection like icons on a computer screen. You don't need to see the code, just the button to click. In the same way, your brain doesn't show you the full quantum field. It shows you a version that makes sense based on your past and your programming. And here's the twist. You can change that programming, which means you can change the version of reality you see. Not the facts outside you, but the way your mind filters, interacts with, and ultimately creates meaning from them. So the real question becomes, what model of reality are you living in? And is it truly yours, or inherited from the past? Have you ever experienced a moment when your perspective shifted, and suddenly, the world looked different? Share it in the comments, I'd love to hear your story. And stay with me, because in the next section, we'll uncover why 95% of your life is actually being run by the subconscious, and what that means for your freedom. What if the life you're living isn't being shaped by your conscious choices, but by silent programs you don't even know are running? It sounds unsettling, but it's true. Up to 95% of your daily thoughts, actions, and emotional reactions are driven by your subconscious mind. You might think you're steering the ship, making rational decisions, but beneath that surface, a much deeper current is guiding everything. And that current was formed long before you had a say. From birth until around age 7, your brain spends most of its time in theta vivassa, hypnotic, dreamlike state. During this stage, you absorb everything: voices, emotions, energy, tone. You don't analyze, you receive. This is where your core beliefs are born. Not just intellectual ideas, but emotional truths. I'm not enough. I need to earn love. It's not safe to speak up. Even if no one says it aloud, your subconscious picks up the signal. Over time, these invisible beliefs become your default frequency. And in the quantum field where vibration shapes experience, your subconscious isn't just storing memories, it's broadcasting instructions. Take a person who, deep down, believes they're unworthy of love. No matter how kind or intelligent they are, they might keep attracting partners who abandon them. Why? Because their subconscious is selecting, interpreting, and amplifying the very patterns that match that inner frequency. They don't deserve pain, but their energy keeps calling it in. Not because they want it, but because it's familiar. This is why change feels so hard. You can read the books, repeat the affirmations, set new goals. But if your subconscious signal hasn't shifted, the outer world won't either. It's like trying to plant roses in soil wired for weeds. Neuroscientist Dr. Bruce Lipton explains that the subconscious runs millions of times faster than the conscious mind. It's not good or bad, it's just powerful. And it doesn't respond to logic. It responds to repetition, emotion, and imagery. So here's the real work. Not forcing new outcomes, but reprogramming the signal. Not fighting the world, but updating the story you tell beneath your awareness. Have you ever caught yourself repeating the same pattern and wondered, why does this keep happening to me? That's not a failure, it's a signal. It's your subconscious inviting you to rewrite the code. So ask yourself gently, what beliefs might still be living in me that I never chose? What memories still hum quietly in my energy field? And if your subconscious is steering the ship, isn't it time to make sure it knows where you actually want to go? What do you think? Have you ever uncovered an old belief that changed how you saw everything? Let me know in the comments. Your story might help someone else wake up too. And stay close, because next, we'll uncover something powerful. You are not the screen watching your life unfold. You are the projector shaping the entire scene. What if the world you see isn't happening to you, but through you? Not like a camera recording what's out there, but like a projector casting images from within. It's a quiet truth, often overlooked. Reality doesn't reflect the world, it reflects your inner signal. Like a lens covered in colored glass, your beliefs, emotions, and unconscious programs tint everything you perceive. You don't just witness life, you cast it, like light onto a screen. This is why two people can walk through the same experience and come away with completely different truths. One feels betrayed, the other feels freed. One sees a failure, the other sees a beginning. Not because the world changed, but because their inner frequency shaped the way it landed. This is the heart of what psychologists call the self-fulfilling prophecy. When you expect the worst, you tense up, shrink, or sabotage without realizing it, causing the very thing you feared. When you radiate trust or confidence, the world often softens in response. It's not magic. It's energy meeting energy. Your reality is not a fixed stage, it's a responsive mirror. Whatever signal you broadcast, life sends back a matching echo. Sometimes as people, sometimes as challenges, sometimes as unexpected opportunities that feel too perfect to explain. The outside world isn't trying to hurt you, test you, or prove a point. It's showing you. Every encounter, every delay, every breakthrough, it's feedback. Neutral information, reflecting the script you're unconsciously playing inside. Quantum experiments continue to affirm this idea. Particles remain in superposition until observed. It is the interaction, the inner attention, that determines the outer form. So what if you stopped trying to change the movie on the screen and began adjusting the light source within? Can you recall a moment where your inner shift changed how people responded to you instantly? What might happen if you chose, just for today, to project from peace instead of fear? Let me know in the comments. And stay close, because next, we'll step into the unseen engine behind it all, the unconscious loop that keeps you reliving the same story until you finally rewrite it. Have you ever felt like you're living the same story, just with different faces, different places, and the same old pain? That's not just coincidence, it's a loop, and most of us are caught in it. The unconscious loop is the hidden engine beneath your everyday life. It's the reason some people always attract unavailable partners, why others keep running into the same financial chaos, or why, no matter how much success someone gains, they still feel empty inside. It's not that they're cursed. It's that their emotional baseline, their consistent vibrational signal, is quietly shaping what repeats. Think of your emotional baseline like a background hum. It's the frequency your system returns to after the highs and lows fade. Some people live from quiet fear, others from unworthiness, others from a constant need to prove something. And that frequency? It magnetizes familiar outcomes. Quantum reality doesn't respond to what you wish. It responds to what you are, energetically. That's why affirmations don't work when your emotional body is still wired for fear. The loop doesn't listen to your words. It listens to your signal. Neuroscience confirms that 90–95% of your daily actions are driven by the subconscious mind. And when your subconscious is programmed for repetition through childhood wounds, societal norms, or generational patterns, it loops the same energetic story again and again. Not to punish you, but to give you a chance to notice and shift. You may think, this always happens to me. But what if the deeper truth is, this always happens through me? And what if the loop isn't a trap but an opportunity? Have you ever caught yourself mid-pattern and asked, why does this feel so familiar? That moment of recognition is the first crack in the loop. Because once you become conscious of it, you're no longer just living it, you're witnessing it. And from that witness space, you gain the power to interrupt the pattern. So ask yourself, what emotion do I unconsciously return to most often? And what if that emotion is writing the next chapter before I even wake up? What do you think? Have you ever seen a pattern repeat in your life so clearly, it almost felt scripted? Let me know, and stay with me because up next, we're going to talk about quantum events and how you can start initiating them instead of waiting for life to shake you awake. What if the breakthrough you're waiting for is actually waiting for you to match its signal? This isn't about luck, fate, or the universe randomly choosing when to reward you. It's about resonance, and resonance creates quantum events. A quantum event happens when your internal vibration aligns so precisely with a potential in the quantum field that the wave collapses into form. In physics, this is called the collapse of the wave function, when a field of infinite probabilities becomes a single, observable reality. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Now imagine this. You walk into a room filled with musical instruments. Only the guitar tuned to your frequency begins to hum. Why? Because vibration recognizes vibration. This is how the quantum field works. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions act as tuning, fork-sculling forward experiences that match your internal state. When you enter a coherent emotional frequency, love, clarity, empowerment, you become a precise signal. And in that moment, the field responds. That's why some people experience synchronicities that seem impossible to explain. The job offer that arrives just after they release fear. The chance meeting that changes everything. The perfect timing that logic couldn't plan. These aren't accidents. They're collapses the field responding to frequency. But most people wait for life to change before they change their energy. They wait to feel secure before trusting. They wait to be loved before softening. They wait for permission before becoming who they really are. Quantum creation flips that script. You don't wait for the event. You become the signal that calls it in. It's subtle but powerful. It means every breath, every choice, every small emotional shift is shaping what comes next. Have you ever made a deep inner decision and the outer world shifted in response, almost instantly? These are the moments where the veil thins, where life bends to your coherence. What do you think? Can you recall a time when your energy created the event, not the other way around? Drop your thoughts below. And stay with me because up next, we'll go even deeper. Every version of you already exists. The only question is, which one are you tuning into? What if the version of you that's confident, healed, deeply loved, and wildly aligned isn't in the future but already exists? Not as a goal to chase, but as a frequency already vibrating in the quantum field waiting for you to match it. In quantum theory, all possibilities exist as overlapping waveforms until one becomes real through observation and coherence. This means every timeline, every version of you is already encoded into the field. The successful you, the peaceful you, the you who forgave, let go, and rose. You're not creating that version, you're simply tuning to it. But here's the catch. Tuning into a new self often requires the collapse of the old one. And that collapse doesn't always feel like magic. Sometimes, it feels like grief, like uncertainty, like walking through fog with no map, just and knowing that you can't go back to who you were. This is called identity collapse, and it's a vital part of every quantum shift. Because to resonate with a new timeline, the energy of the old must dissolve. That's why just before breakthroughs, people often feel lost, isolated, or like they've lost themselves. In truth, they're shedding who they're no longer meant to be. It's the caterpillar melting inside the cocoon. Terrifying and necessary, and you don't have to do it all at once. Small choices aligned with the frequency of the new self create micro shifts. Over time, these choices rewire your emotional baseline. And suddenly, without realizing it, you wake up inside a timeline that once felt out of reach. Can you feel a version of you calling from beyond what's familiar? Have you ever felt the quiet ache of becoming where the old you no longer fits, but the new you hasn't fully landed yet? That's the bridge, and you're already crossing it. So ask yourself, if the version of me I long for already exists, would that version breathe? Speak? Say yes or walk away? What do you think? Have you ever felt like reality was shifting because you were shifting? Drop into that reflection and stay close, because next, we'll explore the 4 steps to initiate a quantum event and how to consciously step into the timeline that's been waiting for you all along. Have you ever tried everything affirmations, effort, positive thinking only to feel like reality isn't shifting? It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because you're broadcasting the right words from the wrong state. In the quantum world, reality doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you vibrate. And vibration is not a concept. It's a biological, emotional, and energetic state that can be measured, felt, and embodied. That's why these 4 steps aren't just ideas, they're frequencies you must live into. Let's walk them again. One last time, this time not as theory, but as lived rhythm. 1. Clear intention, the frequency of direction. Every quantum shift starts with clarity, not mental clarity, energetic clarity. Your intention is not about asking the universe for favors. It's about selecting the reality you're ready to tune into. But be careful. Most people set intentions from fear. I want to be successful often hides, I'm afraid I'll fail. And the field responds to the fear, not the wish. So go deeper. Ask, what identity am I ready to become a vessel for? Let your intention be precise, but soft, grounded, but expansive. Speak it, feel it, anchor it like a tuning fork. 2. Emotional embodiment, signal before form. This is where most people get lost. They know what they want, but they keep feeling who they were. The subconscious doesn't listen to future goals. It follows the emotional baseline of your nervous system. Here's where your vagus nerve becomes vital. This powerful nerve links your heart, lungs, and gut to your brain, influencing your mood, intuition, and even the stories you believe about life. When you slow your breath, when you feel gratitude, when you stop rehearsing survival, you shift your physiology from contraction to coherence, from protection to openness. So before asking for change, ask yourself, what would it feel like to already be there? Not imagine it, be it, emotionally. You're not creating from emptiness, you're broadcasting from fullness. 3. Expanding energy, becoming magnetic. Now that your emotion is embodied, it's time to magnify the signal. Your heart's electromagnetic field, studied extensively by HeartMath Institute, expands when you feel elevated states like joy or compassion. That expansion is what the field detects. It's what allows synchronicities to find you because your energy now reaches beyond your body. 1 practice. Each morning, sit quietly. Feel the emotion tied to your future self. Then imagine it growing outward, like waves of warmth. 3 feet, 6 feet, across the room, beyond the walls. You're not visualizing a fantasy. You're amplifying coherence. And coherence is what calls the new timeline in. 4. Release and trust. The collapse requires stillness. This final step is where most energy dissipates. Because the moment you start chasing results, you collapse your own field. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the timing, form, and mystery of the field to respond when your signal is consistent. If you plant a seed and dig it up every day to check for roots, it won't grow. But if you nurture the soil, water it with presence, and trust the intelligence of nature, life happens. Your job is not to control the outcome. Your job is to maintain the state that aligns with it. Let the quantum field do what it's designed to do. Mirror back your coherence. Common missteps to watch for. Over-focusing on outcomes. This contracts the field. Ask instead, am I in the right frequency now? Skipping the body. If you're thinking elevated thoughts but feeling fear, your signal is incoherent. You must get the body involved through breath, stillness, and nervous system regulation. Rehearsing from lack. If your vision is fueled by what I don't have, the field reads that as scarcity. Instead, begin from wholeness. So ask yourself, what is my clearest intention, and is it coming from fear or expansion? What emotional state does my future self live in, and am I rehearsing it daily? Can I feel that energy expanding until it becomes the space I live in? And most of all, am I willing to trust the invisible long enough for the field to organize the visible? What do you notice when you truly become the vibration before the result? Have you ever felt life respond not to your words but to your presence? Let it land. And stay close, because next, we'll dive into what makes all of this possible, why the field only responds to coherence, and how to stabilize it every single day. Have you ever wondered why you can say all the right affirmations, do the meditations, visualize your dreams, yet nothing shifts? It's not because the universe isn't listening. It's because the field doesn't respond to words. It responds to coherence. Coherence isn't about perfection. It's about alignment, when your heart, mind, body, and nervous system are all sending the same signal. You can say, I am abundant, 1,000 times. But if your body is tight with anxiety, your breath is shallow, and your heart feels uncertain, then what the field hears is, I don't have enough. This is why affirmations without embodiment fall flat. Because the field doesn't measure your sentence as it measures your state. The HeartMath Institute has studied this for decades. Their research shows that when a person enters a state of heart coherence, is sustained feelings of gratitude, care, and inner ease, there's a measurable shift in their electromagnetic field. That field, in turn, becomes more ordered, more powerful, and more synchronized with the quantum environment around them. Think of coherence like tuning a musical instrument. When you're in sync, you resonate clearly, and the field knows how to respond. When you're out of tune or rushing, resisting, doubting, the field hears static, conflicting signals, no clear instruction to collapse into form. So how do you know what signal you're sending? Pause. Slow your breath. Close your eyes. Ask, what am I really feeling right now? If your answer is fear, sadness, or scarcity, don't judge it. Just notice it. That's information. It means the energy you're sending doesn't yet match the outcome you're asking for. So instead of forcing affirmations, shift your state. Use the body. Use the breath. Use nature, silence, movement, or music to come back into rhythm. Because only from rhythm does resonance rise. And only from resonance does the field respond. You're not being ignored. You're being mirrored. Can you remember a moment when you felt deeply aligned and life responded instantly? Or the opposite, when things felt stuck, no matter how hard you tried? That's coherence at work. So ask yourself, right now in this breath, what signal am I broadcasting? What do you think? Can you feel when you're in coherence and when you're not? Reflect on it, feel into it, and stay present, because next, we'll explore something essential. You're always creating reality, whether consciously or unconsciously. The question is no longer if, but how. What if I told you, you're always manifesting, whether you believe in manifestation or not? Reality isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's already responding. Like a mirror that never turns off, the quantum field reflects not your desires, but your dominant state. Your energy is speaking constantly, not with words, but with frequency. The truth is, you don't need to sit cross-legged or light a candle to create. You're doing it now, through the emotions you carry, the thoughts you repeat, the posture of your nervous system. Even your heartbeat plays a role. According to research from the HeartMath Institute, the heart's electromagnetic field extends up to 3 feet beyond the body, transmitting coherent or incoherent signals based on your internal state. So if you're wondering why certain patterns repeat, why love stays distant, money feels tight, or peace remains out of reach, pause and ask, what signal have I been broadcasting? Because the field listens with absolute precision. Delays, tension, repeating negative synchronicities. These are signs, not punishments. They're echoes of misalignment. And they carry a message. The frequency you're sending doesn't match what you're asking to receive. It's not personal, it's vibrational. The beauty? Once you see this, you're no longer a victim of chance. You become a conscious creator not just of outcomes, but of the energy that leads to them. So ask yourself now, what am I feeding the field, fear or trust? Scarcity or expansion? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to become aware. You are already shaping reality. The only question is, will you do it consciously or unconsciously? And if this stirs something in you, stay with me. Because in the next part, we'll go deeper into a powerful truth. Quantum events are not accidents. They are invitations. What do you think? Have you noticed the field echoing your state? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever met the right person at the exact wrong time only to meet them again when you've changed? Was that coincidence? Or something deeper, something intelligent responding to who you've become? Quantum events are not random. They are not flashes of luck from an indifferent universe. They are collisions between your energy and a version of reality that already exists. Like tuning a radio, the station was always there, but only when you dial in with precision do you hear the music. In quantum physics, there is no past or future as we experience it. Time, in the field, is not linear, it is layered, non-local, a stack of probabilities waiting for coherence. So what you call sudden breakthroughs may have been circling you for years, like stars hidden by daylight. And then one moment, one internal shift of breath, a choice, a surrender, and the reality clicks in. Not because it was forced, but because it finally fit. The HeartMath Institute reminds us, the heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than the brain's, meaning, how you feel shapes the field more than how you think. So when you step into resonance, just with an outcome, but with a version of you that belongs to that outcome, the field reflects immediately. That's why coincidences begin to multiply. You think of someone and they call. You imagine a new path and a door opens. These are not signs from outside. They are reflections from within. It's not about waiting, it's about tuning. Because when your vibration aligns with a new timeline, it doesn't take time, it takes energy. And if you've been asking for a sign, this is it. So what version of you are you tuning into now? And how would life shift if you believed it was already available? You are not chasing your future. You are activating it. Stay with me. In the final part, we'll bring it all together. You are not just living in the field. You are the signal. I'm curious, have you ever experienced a moment that felt too perfect to be random? Let me know in the comments. What if the breakthrough you're chasing is actually waiting for you to stop chasing? You are not a seeker wandering the quantum field. You are a transmitter broadcasting constantly, not with your words, but with your nervous system, not with your effort, but with your frequency. Every heartbeat, every breath, every emotion you allow or resist, it all sends a signal. And the field listens, not to what you want, but to what you are. You don't manifest by force. You manifest by coherence. So here's the invitation. You don't need to do more. You only need to become, not a future version of yourself, but the most aligned version right now. That's the shift. And maybe today, it's time to name it. What's one word that captures the energy you're stepping into? Peace, power, trust, freedom? Write it down, speak it, anchor it. Because the moment you own the frequency, the timeline begins to bend. And remember, the quantum doesn't wait. It mirrors. You are not the echo. You are the origin. So what will you broadcast next? Let me know in the comments. What is your word for this new timeline? And if this video sparked something in you, some clarity, some opening, don't let it fade. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of your own unfolding. This is just the beginning. You are the signal. You always were.